and they can get that type of education anyway.
Yeah.
And go to school and not be able to read and write.
But I came into the time period when the acting child labor laws were passed in California. You had to go to school, folks. I mean, you had to go to school.
And they have to, what, they provide a tutor?
Yeah, I mean, I said sometimes when they did after school, I was set in a class with, you would have, basically you had Roddy McDowell, you would have Elizabeth Taylor, Natalie Wood, Margaret O'Brien in my class when I was, like that. It didn't make any difference that I was, young. Basically, it was all, like the Big Red School. Actually, they still have the Big Red School.
Oh, like in the old ones, the Big Red School.
No, and you would go there, and they basically had teachers mean as hell to make certain that you learned. But we all learned. But the ones before us didn't have to go. And like I can't tell you because that person is still an actor today. And as far as I know, they can't read nor write. And that is a person that is a little bit older than I am, but still, it's what you see in the school systems today. The Democrats are scared of people that had to learn. The Republicans basically write us off. The Democrats are scared of them. Because if they read this stuff, I mean, I know Glenn Beck is an idiot. I mean, I think the guy is more dangerous than Barack Obama, pure and simple, because Glenn Beck is trying to start a political movement. And that's frightening. Obama is just a socialist for the Democratic Party, but Beck's trying to start a political movement. Glenn Beck reads a book a day. Because Glenn Beck will flat out tell you, I was ignorant. And I read books so that I know. I mean, I knew people that came to this country when I was a young performer. They would carry around cards in their pockets. You'd think they had a package of cigarettes in their pocket. You're like a teenager with cigarettes. No. When the camera was on, they pulled the cards out and...
Were they flashcards?
And little, L-I-T-T-L-E, little in the backside, little means are another one out of the pocket. 5 plus 5 minus 3 equals. And then this is how they learned. They sit there, they would sit there, they would not only read the scripts that they were doing, they would read scripts that were left behind from other people.
Really?
They thirsted for knowledge. They wanted to read. They wanted to do everything. I mean, I see so many people's scripts marked up with math things on them. Because they sit there and, they ask, how much film do you use a day? And the guy would say, well, we're shooting 24 frames a second, and each...
Then they use the math.
And then they figure out how many feet that was. How
many feet and how many minutes are you shooting for?
That's right. And the people that were on hand in between the setups, okay, like I said, how much, they go, like I say, how much, because they're running a profession too, how much of this tape is in a roll? And they said, well, we go through so many rolls a day, we use so much tape at a time, and they're figuring out, because they don't know how much tape is in a roll, but they figured how much tape was in a roll by how much tape was being used. And they sit there and do that. Those people today are the heads of this business. If you notice, they don't have a whole lot of English-sounding names to anybody. Because those people that started out from the bottom basically worked their way up. I mean, Roger Corman could do math like nobody on this planet.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, that guy in his head could do mathematics. He would figure out, I don't have enough
money. I don't have enough money to finish this picture. So if you want to finish the picture, can you give me your paycheck back?
Yeah, I know a guy named Brett Halsey who basically he was smarter than Corman. He said, well, I'm sick, I can't come in, but you have to come in. You got the, I can't wrap the movie. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I have the cash waiting for you. Yeah, some of the people got really smart and you get it in cash. Other people...
Oh, I see.
That's how Corman made movies. He, basically...
The early days of Hollywood.
Early days of Hollywood were fun. I mean, Corman was a wild person to work for because he was very smart. He was an innovator, but God, was he cheap. No, but...
Whose last name is Corman?
Yeah, but no, I dread a country of Soylent Green or Mad Max. That's what we have looking forward to us.
You really think so?
Yeah.
I mean, you think they'd really go that far?
No, it's the law of unintended consequences. Okay, the only people that benefited from the oil spill were the environmentalists. They have now said that basically, for some reason, everything was turned off. It looks more and more every day like it was a means to basically get the cap and trade passed, and the environmentalists will win their battle. Unfortunately, what happened was that BP and the others have decided, okay, BP wants to abandon oil to go to green energy, but they're the largest holder of green energy, which is natural gas in the world. They want to dump the oil side, and they'll dump the oil side over on Venice, on Hugo Chavez, or on Iran. They're the two top bidders for the oil stuff at the moment. And so we'll end up doing business with those people, all because people didn't, things went beyond what they thought they would go beyond. And BP and the oil companies, the oil companies now all announced, well, due to the problems in the Gulf, we now know how to handle deep sea problems. They used it as a laboratory. They destroyed the Gulf of Mexico as a laboratory, all because we're going to have this leak, we'll get it under control, because the shut-off valves will work. We will turn the we'll pump like 100,000 gallons in, we'll flick the shut-off, all the shut-off valves froze. That was the one thing that really wasn't intended. If they had worked, if one had worked, there'd have been nothing after that. They didn't work. And so then it's decided, well, I told people 94 days ago how they could fix it.
Has it really been that many days?
96 days now. I told them how it could be done, because I sat and worked on a movie as a floater on the Hellfighters, which was based on Red Adair. Red Adair said simply that if you have a deep sea well problem and you can't get it fixed, it's going to take 3 years to fix it. But I sat and watched the people there shut the well casing. I worked on a place in Baldwin Hills where they built it over the top of a well, and a cat blew, and it went, took the house out. And I watched them seal the thing there. It's the same deal. You got a zillion gallons of pressure coming at you. You got to get the valve in place, slip it over, and then you slowly reduce the pressure on it. It's the same thing. If you've got 500 pounds of pressure per square inch or 10,000 pounds, it's the same method. You put the valve over, they put the cap over the same way. The cap is open, they put it in place, then they slowly close the cap over the top. Same difference. But you won't, under Obama's world, you're not going to have anybody with the capability of doing any of that.
You know what this reminds me of? The Dark Ages, where only the monks could read.
That only the monks could read. And so this is what we're heading into, because, I mean, these are unique pieces of equipment. But, I mean, okay, she can sit there. She's seen me do animation on this computer. And it is, because I've done it, it's not complicated to me. But to a person that basically can't do mathematics, it's an impossibility. It's all math. It is totally and absolutely mathematics.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, everything on the computer is mathematics. You can't, what I'm doing is I'm programming every little piece. And I take this, I'll go, inching things along to make things work, facial expressions and hand movements, size of the body, it's all mathematics. And if you can't do math, you can't do editing like this. You can't create animation. If you can't do math, you can't do major motion pictures. You can't do 3D work without math.
Which is really kind of funny, because I know a lot of kids there in school, it's like, what do I need to learn this for anyway? When am I ever going to use it?
I use it continually. I sit there and I agonize over the math. Because I'll sit there and see, well, this doesn't add up to that, so I'm going to have to figure out what is wrong. She didn't even realize how much math is involved in my...
I have no clue.
And it's the same thing. Music is all math. I can't read or write music, but I can play instruments and I can compose music. But I'm doing it, I can count, like 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. If you can't count, you can't do the cadence that's needed to make the music work. That's how and now she knows how I can sit there and do the arrangements, is because I can count. I know, I can hear it in my head how many bars you need, and I know it is a 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 3. Huh?
And he can't read music.
I can't read music, I can't read a note of it. But I can compose and I can arrange. I've arranged full-scale orchestra scores, which she's heard me do. I can do the arrangements in a matter of minutes. So. But I can do math is because I can do math. I hated math. I totally hated it because I would get in trouble in school. I mean, I was in an algebra class, and advanced algebra, and I'd been skipped over beginning algebra because it was a waste of time. They say, well, okay, well, will Mr. Oldecam go up and...
They call him Mr. Oldecam.
They call me Young Cam back in those days. Well,
no, they didn't.
No, they had a lot of names for me. None of them were as complimentary as Old Fart, so, which is a abbreviation of Oldecam. But I go up and then they do this, okay, here's the answer, and then I leave. They say, well, you can't do that, that's cheating. And they said, no, it's not cheating. They said, yes, you knew the answer. I said, no, I didn't. I just simply did it in my head. And they said, well, you can't do that. Well, will you please, well, Young Cam, will you please show us how this was done? So I put the number, what I was supposed to do there, and I put the answer there, and I went that direction. And then they say, well, we'll have Young Cam, we'll have him put the answers up now to all of these things, and you do it backwards. So this kid's pissed off at me because...
I know, it's hard enough doing it forwards.
It'd make them go backwards. Try going backwards. When you've got the answer, which the teacher really thought, I like that idea, because that makes them work.
Yeah.
Of course, the students hated me, so, but it worked. But just because I learned to do math, my father was in the construction business, and math is required massively in that business because she knows I can size something pretty close without even having a ruler. So I look at a screw, and all of those I can figure out basically, and I know almost exactly which one to do it. But you have to learn. It's not only our math, you actually have to learn metrics, because metrics are very big in the naval business. Kilometers. Don't measure fuel in gallons. You measure fuel in pounds.
You do?
How many pounds will get you there?
Oh, that's interesting, because you buy it by the gallon.
You buy it by the gallon, but when you fly a plane, you don't buy it by the gallon. You buy it by the pound. If you're a military pilot.
Really?
Yeah, it's by the pounds. Or actually, it's how many pounds you put in. If you're not counting gallons. If you're a commercial pilot, you're counting. We have like a 12,000 pounds less. Listen to them on the movies and you see on TV, or they're telling you we have 14,000 pounds of fuel left aboard, because it's got to do with weight. You fly a military jet. They don't care about gallons. They care about the fact that 1 gallon equals 10 pounds. So if you say, well, I'm getting, I know that I can get 6 miles per gallon. I have 1,000 gallons left.
Well,
Each
and also
gallon is 1
because there's
pound.
weight requirements because they're flying.
Yeah, but you figured that out that way, because you have to have mathematics. You know how many gallons are in a pound. You know how many miles you can get per gallon. And you're sitting there figuring it all out on your calculator, which most planes do have calculators on board them. They have early forms of computers, because you sit there, type the stuff in, and then it would basically put up on the screen, all the figures that you needed to know. What if we were to change our course setting? You can't fly an airplane.